Hey everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. How are you today? It is Friday, August 4th, 2017. I want to cover some important things with you, some updates with regard to this market, what's going on right now, and a couple of other things. It's kind of funny. I do try to read the comments on my videos, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Steemit. Sometimes I fish around online just to see what people are saying, and some people hear things in my videos that I just didn't say. Case in point, yesterday I had done a video where I had said I did not expect the Dow Jones Industrial Average to hold 22,000 very long. Incidentally, while I am doing this video, the stock market is higher, not by much, but all of the major indices are higher, although they have been all over the place today as well. But again, as I am doing this, all three major indices are up. Now, that does not mean Greg was wrong in the video that I did yesterday, but more importantly is, again, it just blows my mind. In the video that I did yesterday, I said, I've been saying, let's back up further, that since Donald Trump's election, that this market, it was a game changer. I went on public record saying that on USA Watchdog and a couple of other shows that I was on. And even more recently, I said that the Fed has got the back of this market when Janet Yellen did a 180 with regard to being more dovish. I said this market would hit record after record, and now we've had like 8 in a row with regard to the Dow. So I really don't believe there's another person out here that has called this market more accurately since the election of Donald Trump. Have I had a few bad calls since that time? Absolutely, but my record since the election with my own personal calls is better than 7-1 winners. I can't imagine that anyone can do better than that. Again, I get it wrong sometimes. You have to. There's no person out here, I don't care who you are, even if you're Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan as a whole, that's going to get it right every time. But my record is, I think, exceptional. And if you've been following my picks on my website, traderschoice.net, quite frankly, you have been lining your pockets with cash. If you're a trader, there's no doubt about it. But again, people hear the most bizarre things. People are saying, oh, Greg is calling for a market crash. I am not calling for a market crash. I said in the video yesterday that we needed a pullback for the market to move higher, which I think it's going to. I am still a major bull here with regard to the stock market because of several factors. The Fed has got the back of this market. Not only that, the Trump administration wants the dollar weaker. These are both supporting factors for this market here. Although I also went over the fact that this weaker dollar is going to pinch consumers. You know, speaking of that, I would love to hear a comment about what I'm going to say right here. How many of you find it odd? I posted this earlier today on Facebook and a couple of my social networks. How many of you out here, please comment about this, find it odd that we hear that consumer sentiment is higher, it's doing really well, but consumer spending is down? Does that make any sense to you? I don't know. I just find that very strange. Again, it's the news. It's how they report it. It's all the cheerleading and the nonsense that's going on here. Now, let's clarify a few other things here because, again, people have been writing to me and I see posts out there. Greg is saying this. Another dynamic in this market that I have, again, nailed, I think better than anybody else out here. This is the fact, is the U.S. dollar. I've been saying for months it's going to go lower and lower and lower, and that's all it's done, is gone lower, despite, I can't tell you how many emails I have gotten where people tell me how wrong I am. Well, I've been right. So, you know, that's just a fact. Now, I have also said over the past few weeks that the U.S. dollar is technically way oversold, and we're going to get a bounce. There's no doubt about it. In fact, I wrote an article today on Steemit referring to this. I believe right here and right now we are going to get a bounce with regard to the dollar. Again, we've gone almost down straight, hitting a 30-year low versus the euro just yesterday and again today. It's just incredible. It's just bizarre. So a bounce here would not surprise me. In fact, I think it's going to happen. Am I going to trade it? Probably not, at least not today. I want to watch it. I might buy calls at one point here. I don't know. So we're just going to need to see how that plays out here. So here's the big picture as to what's going on right now. This market is massively overvalued by every metric you want to look at, and the U.S. dollar is oversold by every metric you want to look at least at this particular time. There's going to be a bounce in the dollar, and I still feel that this market today, tomorrow, next week, is going to burn some off. It needs to burn some off to move higher. So for those of you that are posting out there that Greg's calling for a market crash, I am not calling for a market crash. I think we need a pullback here for the market to move higher. This is nothing ever goes up in a linear fashion. Someone made a comment about, they were just at a conference recently, and they were talking about how the Dow is going to 40,000. It may go to 40,000, whoever you were out there. In fact, I think I wrote back to you, but it's not going to go to 40,000 or whatever thousand in a linear fashion. If you think it's going to go up in a linear fashion, it's laughable. Okay, it's going to pull back here and then go higher. That's just the way the market goes. It's a random walk with an upward drift, and you should be smart enough to know that if you're going to financial conferences, unless you're listening to a bunch of retards, which is distinctly possible. Look, some of this stuff cracks me up. It really does. And I sit there and I listen to the comments. I read the comments, and most of them are incredibly brilliant. In fact, I read them and I go, some of you out here should have your own blog. And you're way smarter than I am. There's no doubt about it. But some of you out here are hearing things. You know, these voices that you're hearing in your head, maybe you should go see a doctor, or maybe this guy right here is hanging out behind my shoulder. Maybe you should talk to him. I don't know. But the takeaway from this entire video is we have a market here that is beyond overvalued at this point here, being pulled up on the back of a debt bubble, for which Alan Greenspan this week backed Greg Mannarino up about the debt bubble here. In fact, he came out today again on CNBC saying that he's expecting the debt bubble to break relatively soon. In fact, I think he said almost immediately. We'll see how that plays out moving forward too. It's incredible. These distortions in this market are simply off the charts here. So you can expect, and I could be wrong on this, no doubt about it. I don't know everything, but here's the case. Stock market is overvalued. It needs a pullback to move higher, for which I believe it's going to do, because the Fed is backing up this market, as well as the Trump administration, who wants that weaker dollar, okay? Although that's going to pinch consumers, there's no doubt about it. These are facts here. Yield curve still flattening out. I talked about this yesterday, along with the dropping dollar. That may signify that Alan Greenspan, not Greg Mannarino anymore, is right about the debt bubble. The dollar is going to bounce. I think it's going to bounce now. Could I be wrong about that? Absolutely, I could be wrong about that. But it's so oversold right now. That's what I am expecting. And none of these things are going to play out like in the next hour after I say things, because that's another thing I believe some of you hear out here. When Greg says something, that means it's going to happen the next minute. No. Okay, we have to wait for these things to play out. You understand? Anyway, I hope I covered some important things here for you. And thanks for allowing me to kind of clarify some of the things. If you just fish around out there, you're going to hear some weird things that people hear me saying, which I never said. But that's okay. It's kind of interesting in a way. And it gives me a charge a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, it is Friday, everybody. And you know what that means? I'm going to be at the pool this weekend. I can promise you. I was at the pool last weekend. I got a little color. Some of you commented about it. I know it was really pale. I'm going to be out there. I'm going to be relaxing. I'm going to be just mellowing out. And that's what I want you to do as well. Have a safe weekend, a happy weekend. And we're going to talk more about this come Monday. I think next week's going to be interesting in this market. And we'll talk about more about that at that time. Over and out.